So, I've been building this city for quite a few months now. And it's turning out alright. We have this cool coal and ore mining site, shaped like octagons, this stone quarry dug right into the mountains, or this hexagonal shaped oil drilling industry. Recently, I've started developing the downtown of the city based on this very unique road layout. All of these features make the city very unique and interesting, and overall I'm enjoying building it a lot. But there are some things that just bother me. You see, while I was building the next area for this city, which you will see later in the video, I was plagued with a multitude of issues that needed my attention. I first started having these random power outages. This was because one of my small coal power plants mysteriously stopped importing coal as fuel. I tried to be cheesy about it and simply bulldozed it and rebuilt another one in its place, as that resets its fuel reserves, but the issue persisted and every new plant would simply use its original fuel completely and refuse to import more, and every time it ran out of coal, power would be missing all over the city again. I checked on my coal mining industry and found out it had its efficiency cut in half because of piled up garbage. This should not make a difference on the power plant, because it could always import the coal from another city, but nonetheless, this garbage situation was something that needed to be addressed. After all, the city doesn't have any garbage facility yet, and it's exporting all of its garbage, so this was a good time to address it, and I built a recycling center at a temporary location next to the rail yard. This was effective in clearing all the trash issues in the city, particularly the downtown area, but for some reason the garbage trucks just refused to pick up the trash in the coal mine. Alright, this is it. Go for it, buddy. Come on, man, what are you doing? Go to the mine, it's literally the only red spot around here. I swear, if this guy leaves without going to the mine, I'm gonna be pissed. Oh my god, are you serious? I know it's not the access because the police cars and trucks can go here without any issue, so what the hell? Coal was not the only resource my city was failing to import. In fact, the cargo train terminal is completely paralyzed, with storages full and both cargo lines locked at 0%. I added another warehouse to increase its capacity, but at the end of the day, there was really no point to it, as it was just basically going to get filled again and the resources not getting used. On top of all that, the game would occasionally give me these mini heart attacks, as sometimes when I looked at the cash flow toolbar, I would see these triple down pointing red arrows. At one point, I was losing 107 million per month for concrete factory subsidies specifically. 107 million in monthly losses for a couple of concrete factories.
The gameplay is good, and that's what I've been telling everybody. The gameplay is good. If the game is not fun and the simulation sucks, where do you go from there?
Not everything is bad though, as I get to focus on one of my most fun activities, which is city design. Since the previous video, I focused on the area between the high school, the public transport hub, and the college. This is going to be a transition area between the skyscrapers in the downtown and the mid-density housing in the midtown. So buildings are going to be mostly mid-density apartments and mixed zoning, complemented with low-density commercial and offices in areas of high traffic, like the avenues. Both my elementary schools were full, so I designated an area for a third one in this district as well, which got filled almost immediately, so we'll have to build more in the future. Speaking of districts, this area was still unnamed, so I baptized it as Sector D, as the last sector we named was Sector C. So we'll pretty much be using the same logic for generic district naming. I also named dedicated districts for the high school, the college, and the public transport hub. The main highway connection works well, but I noticed it would sometimes have some issues with traffic. I addressed this by building a direct connection between Midtown and this new area via a tunnel to take out some volume off the main loop, and that seemed to help, but I might come back here in the future because I'm not sure this is a good long-term solution. I also built the first tourist attraction in this area by placing this bronze statue. I built this area slowly, letting the buildings develop and RCI demand adjust, while adding necessary services in between, namely parking lots and parks like this skating rink next to the train rails. The area between the public transport hub and the college was converted into an office area, with mostly low-density offices. I figured this would be an appropriate city planning choice as it has the best access, next to all the transport options, and is also close to all those recent college graduates which can be exploited to work for barely living wages. Of course, as usual, decoration is a fundamental part of city design for me. So I took my time detailing by planting trees, bushes and flowers, particularly next to the long pedestrian pathways which I think look the best when outlined with trees. There were also some empty areas which were converted to custom parks, like the area next to the elementary school. As the city grew, I needed to expand my water services as well. I noticed that although placed at different coasts, the water pollution caused by the sewage pipes was almost reaching the water pumps. So for the sake of testing, and to avoid citizens from consuming contaminated water, I upgraded the sewage pipes with their respective pollution-reducing upgrades. I found out instead that while the water pollution decreased, these upgrades would increase the air pollution, which spread to the nearby homes, so I just relocated the sewage pipes to another temporary location far away until I build a proper facility for them. I also worked a bit with the firefighting service. Even though people were not complaining about fire coverage, there were some fires which started at the downtown area to which trucks took a huge amount of time to get to because the closest station was very far away. So I built the city's first large fire station at one of the edges of the downtown layout with all the necessary upgrades, including a helipad, not because it's needed, because we have natural forest fires disabled, but because helicopters are cool as hell. I also defined operating districts for the fire stations so that each of them covers the areas that are closest to them and trucks don't take too much time to get to their destinations. With these new developments, the population of the circuit board has increased from 18,000 to 27,000 residents, which is a significant increase since the last update. I really like how this new area turned out. It is mostly mid-density residential, but there are some high-density buildings as well, which visually makes the transition to the downtown area much smoother. Like the rest of the city, this area has a robust network of pathways that encourage walkability. I also connected this area to the midtown with a pedestrian bridge, which is being used by the citizens already. I might convert the area below into a park and detail it further, just like the area around the bronze statue, which deserves a few more bushes and trees, wouldn't you agree? Speaking of trees, the vegetation placed in some of the city's older areas are now fully grown, and this is how they look now. Regarding the issues I pointed out earlier, I can bulldoze and rebuild the coal mine to remove the garbage glitch if it doesn't fix itself naturally. And I randomly fixed the coal import issue for the power plants on a test save file. I don't even know how, but I hope I can replicate it in the official save. The income losses still happen from time to time, with crazy instant variations in cash flow, but overall, the city is making money in the long term. In fact, with all of this money in the bank, I don't even think I'll ever need to worry about budgeting, which on one hand is relieving, but on another a bit boring, as there's really no challenge in city management. The cargo import and export situation still needs a bit of work on the development side. These are just a few examples of the many things that did work in Cities Skylines 2. I generally keep my videos positive, but as a content creator who has a voice and some people listen to, I don't think not speaking about the things that are preventing CS2 from becoming the best city building game ever to be the solution. At one point, we're shamelessly ignoring the elephant in the room that everyone can see. By working at a fairly big consumer company myself, I understand that sometimes internal complications and business directives can get in the way of providing the service people deserve. And I think, at this point, the future of CS2 is in the hands of both parties. The developers and the publisher, who should work together to deliver the game people paid for and expected, and the players, who should be supportive and provide them with as much constructive feedback as possible, while respecting them as human beings and their work. And overall, just be patient. They are aware of how we feel, and I believe they are tirelessly working on improving the game and making it the best it can possibly be. This is the message I wanted to share in this video. See you in the next one.